Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Bob Woerner, Livermore Vice Mayor. I'm pleased to bring you this town hall on economic development and small business assistance. Joining me today are Adam Vandewater, Director of the Livermore's Office of Innovation and Economic Development, Don Argula, CEO and President of the Livermore Valley Chamber of Commerce, Marlow Schindler, Public Information Officer and Assistant District Director for Lender Relations at the U.S. Small Business Association San Francisco District Office, and Rachael Snedecor, Executive Director, Livermore Downtown, Inc. The impacts of the shelter-in-place orders are broad-ranging and severe. And many of our businesses, who are our job and revenue generators and innovators, are hurting. As of yesterday, we have 86 businesses that have voluntarily reported more than 8.7 million in lost revenue and workforce reductions affecting more than 1,800 workers. Now, these 86 businesses represent only about 2% of our total registered businesses, so the economic impacts are likely to be significantly higher. Now, we are all in this together and need to collectively figure out the best ways to manage through these unprecedented times. The Livermore City Council and staff, along with the business leaders of the city, are committed to keeping our city a desirable place for residents and all our businesses to thrive. Now, many actions are being taken at all levels of government and in the private sector. And we are looking closely at what other communities are doing and are open to all suggestions for what more we can do to help. So, as we all know, the situation is changing rapidly and can frankly be very confusing for those seeking help. This town hall is designed to identify information sources and organizations and people to contact that can assist our affected businesses get the help they need. To start us off, we have Adam Vandewater, who will provide us with an overview of what the City of Livermore has been doing to ease the financial burden that the pandemic has caused to many of our businesses. Thank you. Adam?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Adam Vandewater, the Livermore Director of Innovation and Economic Development. Thanks for joining us today. First off, I want to acknowledge that the challenges we are facing right now are the result of collective efforts to protect public health. And as of this morning, there are about 890,000 positive cases nationwide, about 39,000 in California, just over 1,300 in Alameda County, and 33 in Livermore. This morning, our mayor, our city manager, and the CEOs of Stanford Valley Care and Kaiser Permanente had a community conversation on public health. So if you missed that, that is available on the city's website at cityoflivermore.net. Secondly, while some in-person city services have been suspended during the term of this local emergency, the city remains hard at work with all of our economic development staff at full and often beyond full capacity as we work to get up to speed on rapidly changing conditions, aligning with our partners, exploring best practices and creative ideas, and helping our local businesses weather this turbulent time. The city declared a local state of emergency now 41 days ago on Friday, March 13th, and we've been sheltering in place now for 38 days. Information on how best to work together to protect ourselves from the coronavirus has changed daily, if not hourly, ever since. And as a result, we have taken or continue to take a number of steps to ensure the City of Livermore responds as quickly, as nimbly, and as strategically as possible. This includes activating our Emergency Operations Center and meeting daily with executive staff and our partners to review updated information and tailor our local response and objectives accordingly. Most importantly for this webinar, we are acting quickly to ease the financial burden of this pandemic on businesses and residents alike. The City of Livermore issued one of the first moratoriums on commercial and residential evictions in the state of California, and issued the first penalty-free deferral of city water and sewer payments, business license fees, and transit occupancy taxes for the hotels who have seen their occupancies rates and revenues drop nearly 80%. We have worked with Livermore Sanitation to suspend or reduce services to temporarily closed businesses, help to secure and distribute personal protective equipment for our first responders, provide resources to our senior, homeless, and most vulnerable populations, set up websites with up-to-date information for residences and businesses, which we'll be talking a little bit more about in a minute, providing opportunities to buy gift certificates to provide cash flow for shuttered businesses, and supporting local charities like Spectrum Community Services Meals on Wheels program or Open Heart Kitchen, and worked with countless businesses to transition to web-based commerce, takeout and delivery, or safely implement new social distancing protocols in their workplaces or assembly lines. Of course, to do this, we've needed to understand each new county, state, and federal regulation, operational guideline, and financial assistance opportunity. And we've worked to summarize them so residents and businesses have the most simplified, relevant, and timely information possible. You'll hear more about these efforts from our remaining speakers, but in addition to the COVID-19 main page at cityoflivermore.net, my office has created a set of links available at oied.net, that's Office of Innovation and Economic Development, oied.net, to what we think are the most relevant resources for local businesses. This includes things like extending your state or federal income tax payments, applying for SBA disaster loans and services, filing for state unemployment insurance, or finding links to local resources. In addition to working closely with the others on this panel, we are working with the California Employment Development Department, the state GoBiz department, the county, our partner cities throughout the Tri-Valley, our Wine Growers Association and urban manufacturers, our iGate Daybreak Labs, Innovation Tri-Valley, which has recently launched Tri-Valley Together, a call to action to donate technology to support online learning, medical supplies for our Tri-Valley hospitals, and cash to support our most vulnerable populations. Most notably, this inspired Lamb Research, a Livermore company, to commit $25 million to COVID-19 relief and recovery. We're working with Visit Tri-Valley, our local convention and visitors bureau, which is promoting Tri-Valley to Go and the state's Takeout Tuesday, as well as highlighting the Tri-Valley's hidden heroes, exercising selfless acts of courage, support, and inspiration during our shelter in place. Finally, the East Bay Economic Development Alliance, one of our partners, has collected nearly 900 responses to its economic survey of East Bay businesses as we attempt to estimate the impact on local businesses from these temporary closures. Our office staffs our Commission for the Arts, and we are working to support our artists by revisiting our existing contracts, initiating the first citywide cultural arts master plan update in 13 years. And we're on the precipice of an announcement for a new request for proposals, hopefully next month. And we'll be taking an item to the council for their consideration on Monday night to authorize some murals downtown on our blank cinder block walls once they are free and able to do so under the shelter-in-place orders. Finally, we're looking at how we can use this opportunity to create art that'll commemorate this period in a lasting and significant way. Many of us are turning to artists to help entertain us and make sense of the situation, and we want to make sure that they have the resources they need to continue to produce that great content. As they say, necessity is the mother of invention, and entrepreneurs are also stepping up. Two of the member companies at Daybreak Labs, Aster Biosciences and Metal Monomers, are busy working to first synthesize the proteins of the coronavirus, to facilitate vaccination research, and to create new antibacterials with metal compounds. So some of the scientific expertise and innovation here in Livermore is actively working to find a solution. Unfortunately, Livermore is not immune from the nearly 27 million nationwide individuals who have filed for unemployment benefits, and city staff continues to receive economic injury worksheets and layoff notices under the Federal Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification, or WARN Act, requiring advance notification before layoffs of 100 or more employees. My staff is the designated representative for these notifications, and Teresa de la Vega on our team is working with Alameda County Workforce Development, Cal Employment Development Department's Workshare program, and the Tri-Valley One-Stop Career Center to connect affected individuals with free job trainings, available job postings, and help filing unemployment insurance claims through the State Employee Development Department, which coincidentally has extended their hours of operation to 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. There's been a lot of activity, and most of the activity in the early weeks was working to adjust to our new conditions, but we haven't stopped looking forward. As the county contemplates phased removal of the shelter-in-place order, we are beginning to look into what adjustments we might need to make to bring non-essential businesses back to operation and to adjust to life where we can hopefully circulate freely, but where it could be a while before we gather in large groups, or we have a vaccine that is widely available. While we don't yet know exactly what this might look like or when we will make these transitions, this conclude a number of things under current consideration, such as additional outdoor restaurant seating where we can be in compliance with social distancing, new protocols for the use of shared or public facilities, transitions to contactless payment systems, continued wearing of masks in public, or even changes to portions of our built environment. As we have capacity, we are also still working on longer term projects that will provide future jobs, economic activity, housing, retail, parks, and workspaces. Many of these projects can take years to plan, build, and realize, and work done now can position us for recovery when the market does return. Our city is committed to helping businesses adapt and succeed through these transitions, and I want to thank our community for their amazing spirit of cooperation throughout this pandemic. Before I turn it over to our other speakers, I wanted to highlight a few great stories of the local heroes out there going above and beyond to help their neighbors and employees, and I'm sure you'll hear the same from some of our other speakers. First, and perhaps most importantly, to our doctors, nurses, first responders, grocery, restaurant workers, delivery drivers, and other essential workers that are keeping us safe, healthy, fed, and sane as we shelter in place. To our teachers working to provide instruction remotely. Just this morning, there was a segment on Good Morning America of a teacher at Maryland Elementary School, Heidi Robinson, going above and beyond to provide reading materials for her students. To Lawrence, Livermore, and Sandia National Labs for deploying your interestingly named Corona supercomputers, named for the 2017 total solar eclipse, for coronavirus modeling and vaccination research. To the companies that have rapidly shifted their work online to provide instruction, fitness, meditation, arts classes, gift certificates, and community forums. To Sutherland Distillery Company for helping us take the edge off, but also for donating hundreds of gallons of homemade sanitizer for those in need. To our makers for designing and making face shields for John Muir Hospital staff, and the Tzu Chi Foundation for sewing 100 handmade cloth masks for our police department. To our wine growers, our brewers, and our delivery drivers who are reducing or waiving their delivery fees so we can get the supplies that we need. And to all of our residents staying home, checking on their neighbors, creating makeshift farmers markets, blessings boxes, concerts, parades, and encouraging signs in their windows, and continuing to wear masks when they do venture out. To all of you, we say thank you and are impressed with everybody's community spirit during this time. With that, I'll turn it back to our Vice Mayor so we can hear from our remaining speakers, and then we'll be available for any questions.
Thanks so much, Adam. Next up is Don Argula.
Unmute now. I'm unmuted now. Thank you, Vice Mayor Woerner, and thank you for inviting me to participate on this town hall today. And thank you to Adam Vandewater. You all have been a wonderful partner to work with. And Adam pretty much covered much of anything that I could have shared with you, except to say this. When we went into the shelter in place in March, it was clear to us that this would be a devastating impact upon the economy here locally, and this is something that required all hands on deck. So the chamber mobilized quickly. We reached out to our partners, especially to the city of Livermore, and Vice Mayor Woerner has been a wonderful partner to work with, as well as with Adam and his team and the entire staff there. And then we worked with our partners through the city. We have powerful partnerships here with the Livermore Downtown Merchants Association, the Livermore Valley Wine Growers, Visit Tri-Valley, and others. Collectively, we knew that we needed to come together and to get information, which is key. Information is power. To our businesses and our community, real time. We knew that the financial impacts would be devastating. We monitor constantly what is going on at our local, county, state, and federal level as far as opportunities to bring financial aid to our businesses. And we get that information out as quickly as possible through our social media platforms. And in the first week, the Chamber of Commerce, bringing all of its, the force of its resources, established a new website called www.livermoreupdates.com. And it's a pretty straightforward website. It is for every business in the Livermore Valley to come and post if their business is open. They can do it right online. It also has pages for resources. It provides all of the links to all the financial aid, to the county public health, and to the state public health departments so that you can download the latest information. Our businesses want to ensure that their workers and that their customers remain healthy and safe during this COVID-19 shelter-in-place emergency. So getting that information as it is released is very important. And then just to connect everyone, I will tell you that livermoreupdates.com does not replace any other websites or sources that viewers or users access. We understand that we need to cover all bases here. So, so do go to our website to see who's open, also for resources and to post your information. We continue to monitor. We've pulled in my chairman, Harold Roundtree, is the CEO of Uncle Credit Union, and he has he's working with other financial institutions, credit unions and community banks and large national banks to make sure that the financial world is working very hard to support our businesses with the tools that are made available to them via the federal government, state government, or even the local government, and that those processes are as streamlined as possible. Time is of the essence. Red tape, we don't have time for red tape. So the chamber constantly urges our elected leaders to make sure that the tools that they bring forward are as easy to access as possible, no matter whatever the resources that they are providing us. So in a nutshell, that is all that we're doing. I don't want to repeat. We have some wonderful stories. I know we were happy to help one of our chamber members, Garay Vineyard Cafe, set up a program very quickly to provide meals at no charge to our healthcare and first responder workforce. We did that within 3 or 4 days. And we partnered him with another chamber member, White Castle Tours, that provides the commuter bus services to make the deliveries. They're working with Kaiser and from Antioch to Dublin, San Ramon, Pleasanton, Hayward, Fremont, Oakland. They're making those deliveries daily, and their commitment is to provide those meals through the end of the shelter in place, which we hope will be on May 4th, but if it isn't, I think we are all committed to standing ready to supporting all of you. We have your back. Please send us your messages. Contact us at lccinfo@livermorechamber.org if there is a particular need that is not being addressed through the current list of resources that are available to you. We want to know about it. I also want to acknowledge the sacrifices and the adjustments that many of our businesses have made, our banking industry, our landlords, our property owners, the city, the county. We understand that there's going to be shared sacrifice here. In all likelihood, we will not be made whole again anytime soon, but we want to make sure that we have enough resources that we need not only during the shelter in place, but post-COVID-19, during the recovery, so that we can continue to support our business community and the residents of Livermore Valley and in the region in the state of California, because we are very fortunate. We are a strong community, and we might be a little bit knocked off of our game temporarily here, but we know we will come back strong. We just have to get through this, protect your health first and foremost, And we are here to help you protect your business and your workers and keep people employed and keep those incomes coming. With that, I'll turn it back over to Vice Mayor Woerner. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn. I believe up next is Marlow Schindler.
And I believe I'm unmuted now. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Good afternoon. My name is Marlow Schindler. I'm the Lead Lender Relations Specialist for the Small Business Administration San Francisco District Office. We cover Santa Cruz to the Oregon border, all the coastal counties and the Bay Area. We have several programs that we're kind of in a little bit of a limbo with. Up until today, I've been able to say there's been a lapse in appropriations, so everything's on pause. But the president signed the second round of funding for us. So even though that has now happened, our programs are still on pause, most likely till Monday, but we haven't actually given a clear timeline for when we're going to open up the floodgates again. So I'll talk about the programs as they existed a week ago when we had the lapse in appropriations. What I can't really get into is the details of what these programs are going to look like going forward. So whether that's this weekend or, like I said, more likely Monday. So there might be some changes that come out this weekend. So I just ask you to bear in mind that this is a fluid situation. So I'm going to give you the best information that I have. And the best way to follow up is to check on sba.gov. There's a yellow banner at the top that'll take you right to the PPP and EIDL sections of the webpage. You can also go to treasury.gov/cares. They have the same forms. They also have an FAQ that they're updating even more regularly than SBA.gov is being updated. So if you want kind of the latest, that's where you can find the most up-to-date information. And now just to kind of go into the programs that SBA is offering and just not assume that you already are familiar with them, even though they've been very much in the news. The first one is debt relief, and this one actually hasn't been much in the news. So if you are a SBA borrower in kind of our traditional programs from the before times, 7A, a community advantage, a microloan, or a 504, SBA is offering 6 months of debt relief. So that means that we are paying principal and interest for loans in good standing, and that started with this month, the month of April. So if you haven't already contacted your lender, you can do that. You would automatically have been enrolled though, so you don't necessarily need to do anything to become a part of the debt relief program. If you happen to already have paid your April month's payment, that will either be refunded to you or you can put it towards the principal of your loan. So that's kind of for just the normal, the more traditional, 7A, 504, community advantage, and microloans. So then getting into kind of the new program that has been stood up for this specific moment in this COVID-19 pandemic is the Ppp Loan Program. We have the numbers for kind of the first tranche of money since that's all been spent out. So there were 1.6 million loans made for the $349 billion that we got in the first round. And that was made by about 5,000 lenders. We didn't get into specifics. I mean, like when I'm on a call like this, it's always nice when I can say the city of Livermore got, X number of dollars, but they're not breaking it down even at the county level. So the only level I have stats for right now are the state. So California did extremely well in this loan program, as California is normally proportionally very well represented in all SBA loan programs. But for PPP, California got 110,000 loans for about $33 billion. So, hard to say if we'll kind of keep up that same pace with the next tranche of money, but that just gives you at least some sense of where that first round went. And PPP is an SBA guaranteed program. So it's 100% guaranteed, but SBA is not the direct lender. To take advantage of PPP in this next round, if you or a business you're working with didn't get it in the first round, they still have to go to their bank or their credit union Or we've also had a number of non-bank, non-credit union lenders that have been admitted into the program. So we have some fintechs who are going to be able to participate this round. We haven't published a full list. I know Cabbage, PayPal, Intuit, Bluevine, and a couple others got approved. But I know there was a bunch more that are going through the delegated authority process with Treasury and SBA. So if a borrower hasn't had great success with their existing banking relationship, there are a couple other options out there that they could look at this round. Money will probably go pretty quickly. The kind of stat that the administrator has been putting out there is that we did 14 years worth of loans in 14 days. Prior to this, like a good year for us was processing $20 billion. And, as I said, we've already gone through 350 billion with another 300 billion coming. So it just kind of gives you a sense of what like SBA's normal scale of activity is versus what we're doing right now. A lot of would-be borrowers have had some problems going to their lenders and or going to new lenders to which they're not customers. So a lot of banks and credit unions are servicing their banking relationships first. So I would definitely recommend any business that is trying to apply, definitely start with whoever you have an existing business banking relationship with. And I know some small, micro businesses might not have an official business banking relationship. They might just have a personal banking relationship. Still, go to the lender who you have that relationship with. We do have a list now. There's a PDF on SBA.gov of the participating PPP lenders. It's, I think, a 600-page PDF just because it's formatted not ideally. But it shows which lenders have lent by state. So you can see kind of the very long list of who in the prior tranche of money made at least one loan in the state of California. So if you are looking for other lenders, you can kind of go to that list and see who has at least successfully made loans last time. The second loan program that is being used for COVID-19 is EIDL, or Economic Injury Disaster Loan, EIDL. In this one, SBA actually is the direct lender. That's not true with most of our programs, but that is true with our loan programs through the Office of Disaster Assistance. The program was also paused with a lapse in appropriations, also most likely going live Monday, but that's not hard and fast. It has two parts now. There's the EIDL Advance, which is a grant of up to $10,000, even though we're not using the word grant. It's basically a forgivable advance. And the up to 10,000 is determined by number of employees. So if you're self-employed, or if you're the only employee of the business, you could get 1,000, and then going up depending on how many other people you employ. The advance is taking about 2 weeks to process right now. Our ideal is to get that down to 3 days of processing time, but just the number of applications has kind of overwhelmed the system. So EIDL advances have started to go out. And then after the EIDL advance, applicants will be contacted by a loan officer from the Office of Disaster Assistance, and they will go over the economic injury that business has experienced due to having to shut down or reduce activity. And at that time, they'll come up with the number for how much money that the business could borrow and offer the terms. So a business who applies for EIDL is not obligated to accept the funds. So you can get the EIDL advance, and then if you get to the actual full EIDL loan and don't want to do it, you don't have to. You can still keep the advance. So those are they're on the same track, but they are a little bit separate. And some people have asked about that, if they're obligated once they apply, and no, you're not. For the Paycheck Protection Program, I will point out just a couple things, because we are seeing people who got the money the first round who've been a little bit surprised about some of the terms, even though we've been doing the best we can to publicize them, and as have the banks that we're working with. So from the date that you get approved for the loan, the bank has 10 days to disperse the money. And once that first disbursement happens, an 8-week clock starts, and it's kind of in those 8 weeks that the borrower is supposed to spend the money on payroll. Up, at least 75% of their loan will be for payroll costs and other costs related to rent and utilities. And then after the 8 weeks, that's when the loan forgiveness can happen. So a lot of people are like, well, I'm still sheltering in place. My business isn't open. It's retail, it's restaurant, it's in any way public facing. But that data is kind of what the loan program was set up to do, is to kind of get the money out quickly. So to get it from the lender to the borrower, from the borrower to the employees. So there's not like an option to say, well, okay, I got approved, but can I get it a month from now? Or, I got the money, can I spend it once the shelter in place is over? That's not really how it's structured. So I just would like to kind of point out that timeline is written into the act. So that's what this program is. And I don't know if I can open up to questions or.
I think it just said we were going to have Rachael Snedecor, and then after she speaks, then we're going to open it up to questions. Are you able to see through for that point?
I actually have another call with the city of Santa Cruz in a little bit, so I was going to hop off. I can throw my email address into the chat, or if you want to follow up with it as well, I'm more than happy to answer any one-on-one questions. My email is just marlow.schindler@sba.gov. And that's the better way to reach me, just because the phones have been a little overwhelmed. So I'm a little quicker on responding to email.
So could I think that's a good idea. We don't have any questions that have come in so far, particularly for you, that I see. Adam, do you see any?
Specifically for Marlow, no. I have a few that we can cover after Rachael speaks.
Sure. Okay. Well, and Marlow, that's a ton of information. Could you repeat slowly your email address for the questions?
Sure. So my email address is just kind of my name, Marlow, MARLOW .Schindler, SCHINDLER @SBA.gov, GOV.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's, as you pointed out, an impressive amount of money going out so quickly. And
yes.
And I'm sure that as people learn from this program, it'll get adjusted. And it's really good that you're there to help the people. So thank you. At this point, I guess you can drop.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. So up next is Rachael Snedecor from LDI.
Hi, everybody. I wish I could see all of you, because my gosh, we miss seeing all of your faces downtown right now. So I definitely wanted to give you an update on what's been going on. You as a community have been phenomenal in your commitment, your concern, your desire to really keep our businesses thriving. I was thinking today before coming on this call that our tagline about our Livermore businesses is that downtown is where business thrives and where brilliance thrives. And I kind of think we're even seeing this is also where brilliance survives. So we've watched a lot of pivoting. That's the new word in this COVID post era here. And definitely been very impressed by our entrepreneurial spirit that says, okay, this is what I normally do. This is how I thrive, but now I need to switch around. I've got to come up with things that can fit within this new shelter in place. So you've watched as 5 of our restaurants downtown have become grocery providers for all of you, which was a brilliant connection between food providers who had lost their clients, which were restaurants. Now it can get direct to you from restaurant suppliers through the restaurants. So, a lot of this immediacy is really a testament to the type of entrepreneurs that we have living among us in the Livermore Valley and in downtown for sure. Our retailers, this has been a real shakeup. It's not an automatic avenue for them to be able to still provide for you. But you have watched as they have immediately gone online and gotten themselves set up. They've been brick and mortar first, not e-commerce. Now they've learned to do that blend and providing you online sales, phone sales, delivered to your house. So your favorites right now, they're still available to get those products that you need. Birthdays are still happening. Mother's Day is still coming. Easter happened and people were still providing and buying things for Easter. So we don't want to forget them. I don't think you have. I think you guys have been amazing at keeping that going. The group that we worry about the most right now for me, that I just haven't been able to figure out the thing that we can do, are our hairstylists, our nail stylists, our masseuse, our skincare. They are completely shut off. There is no way that they can be interacting physically with their customers and their clients. And so we really want to, we've been putting out to all of you, if you've had to cancel an appointment and you've got the means to do so, still pay for that appointment. Give them that little boost to get them through here. Pre-book for post-COVID, buy gift cards, whatever you can do to keep their cash flow in place while they survive this and are ready to be our best friends again. I mean, I sit in a hair chair for 2 hours. You can tell I haven't now, but for 2 hours I sit there. So my hairstylist is my friend. We cry together, we laugh together. That's what they are as part of our family. So keep them in mind as you're looking for ways to help. We get a lot of questions from all of you. Is there a fund we can give to you, get to help businesses? Really, where you can help is continue supporting them. They're not looking for cash handouts at this point. They're looking for you to continue purchasing, continue helping them keep employees hired and working. Do the gift cards as a future use. Make an appointment that you may not even see, but you're going to help out. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at right now. We are doing a shirt fundraiser to keep our organization going so that we can be there for our businesses. And this, some of you have seen this now, it's the Livermore 6 feet apart, but connected at the heart. And came up with that like at 3 in the morning, worried about everybody, but really it was inspired by all of you that have just shown so much heart in this community. I know we're going to get through this. It's going to be different. We're all wondering what the post-COVID world is going to be like. We know that it's going to be a slow re-entry. And I think all that we can really ask of all of you is that happens to be patient and to understand that our restaurants and our bars and our shops and our businesses are going to do everything they can to be open back up. But there's going to be a lot of restrictions on them. Things that are not going to be the norm for you, that you're going to be wondering, well, we used to not have to do that. And they're going to be disappointed with you, but they're going to follow the rules so that we can do this safely and, get us all back together in smaller groups, probably for a while, definitely for a while. But we are going to be able to be gathering as a community again. That downtown is our community center. And I think what I've been the most happy about through this process is through all the negativity, just really watching and listening and seeing how much you as a community do love this community, not just the downtown restaurants, not just the downtown shops, but this entire commercial industry within our community are your friends and neighbors. And you've been doing great things. Dawn mentioned that there is a website through the chamber, so you can find out who's open for business. When you go to livermoredowntown.com, we have all businesses on there, and we've opened up our downtown website to businesses all across the Livermore Valley to be listed there, so you can find that information. I've watched many of you, because you have some free time, volunteer your time and efforts and build your own Facebook pages, really encouraging people takeout, who's doing takeout. And so watching that amount of energy, really committed to keeping our businesses here and making sure that they come back. That's why I believe we're going to get through this. It's really because of all of you. You value your downtown, you value your commercial partners, you love to eat, you love to shop, you love to be entertained. And I, for one, know that's going to come back. We are looking at our entire season of events. We know it's going to have to change. It can't be what we've done in the past. We're not going to be allowed to do things. I could look at that as throw my hands up and just be depressed, or we're finding opportunities, things we may have thought about doing, we haven't tried yet. So we're really looking forward to your input on that. We'll be putting some polls out asking you, here's some things that have to change. What would be fun for you? And right now, what can you do now? I miss being out shopping with friends. I miss having drinks with friends. I miss going to live music. Well, there's a couple of fun, creative things that have been launched. One is we did our first shop hop, virtual shop hop, where we had downtown businesses go Facebook Live all at the same time and focus on things that were available for Easter gifts, spring product. You watched one live, and then they were all saved on the Facebook strands, including our Livermore downtown ones. So then you could spend the next hour shopping in these stores just virtually and getting to know the business owners and the shop owners and seeing their product and hearing about how you can get their product. So many are delivering in Livermore. Many are doing, other ways to get you your product quickly. So definitely that was a success. So we're doing it again. We know Mother's Day is coming, so mom still wants something. So we're doing on May 1st, we're going to have a triple sip, Friday night triple sip. You can shelter in place, you can shop in place, and you can sip in place. So we're encouraging you to maybe come down and grab dinner beforehand and your beverages to go, get back home by 7 p.m. and snuggle into that couch and do some shopping. We'll have, at this point, it looks like we've got 9 of our downtown boutique shops that will be going Facebook Live at the same time, and the same concept. You'll be able to watch one live, maybe choose your favorite for that one, and then go and check them all out. And I think you can take care of a lot of the needs right now. And many of our businesses downtown also have product that can be helping with your kids and with your shelter in place, puzzles, activities, games, educational pieces. So make sure you tune in for that. That'll all be on our Facebook. So make sure you're following Livermore Downtown. It'll be on our website. The participating businesses will be letting you know. So don't miss that one. And another real success that we saw happen is Monica's hosted her first live streaming concert. And that is raising money for Open Heart Kitchen, as well as raising product for the Tri-Valley Haven Food Pantry. We know that many of our workforce in the downtown area have faced layoffs and furloughs and are entering the food need world for the very first time. And there are no questions asked at Open Heart Kitchen or at the pantry. And this is a phenomenal way for people to, for the first time, go get the needs that they want. We do not want any of you out there, if you are facing that, to be embarrassed to ask for help. It's there. Food should not be something you can't have access to. So if you can, let's participate with Monica. I think her next concert is not this Saturday, but next Saturday evening. Again, follow Facebook. We'll be getting all of that out. But she plans on, continuing this need. We need some live music. We're going to have it from their living room. So you kind of get to see your favorite local musician that you've met at Monica's. It's like, you've always wondered what their living room looked like, right? So that gives you an opportunity to kind of get to intimately know our musicians, support the restaurants and the beverages downtown, do some shopping, support. That's all this is all about. And if you are hurting, please, let us know. We can help you find, where the help is, because this is just uncharted territory for so many of us, and we're here to help. I think I hit all of my things. This shirt is still available. You should have one. Go on our Facebook, you'll find out how to order it. It gets delivered right to your front porch. It's helping keep the support system in place for the downtown businesses, as well as businesses around the Tri-Valley. And once we are gathering again, we're going to throw some incentives around this shirt. So if you have this shirt, you're now a big partner coming out of this. So there you go too. So I think that's it, Bob. I can let this go to you.
Okay, thanks so much, Rachael. I got a couple of questions that came in prior by email. I'll go through those, and I see that some have come through the chat, but they're mostly directed at Adam. So of the 2 questions, one was for Don and Rachael, the other was for Adam. So what I'll do is Don and Rachael first, and then you do the Adam one, and then Adam, can you see the, you just shake your head. Can you see the chat one? So you're prepared to answer those 2. Okay, great. So what we heard from everyone, there's a tremendous amount going on. And I think what we people want to know in this one question, for it's Don and Rachael. You may have already answered it, but I'll give you a chance to repeat the contact information slowly so everybody knows exactly where to go. And the question is, we want to support our local businesses as much as possible. Is there a directory of Livermore's open businesses, and in what capacity are they open, e.g. Hours, takeout, drive up? So I know that information could be found through the city, it can be found through the chamber, it can be found through LDI. But Don and Rachael, could you speak to the best way to find out exactly what's open? And Rachael, you gave an example of a lot of things going on. Is that on the website so people can just peruse that and see the latest of the activities?
Yes, Bob, on livermoredowntown.com, which you probably, a lot of you are already, familiar with, because that is where we keep funneling information forever. Right on the homepage, there is a button that says Corona, open during this crisis kind of thing. So you just click on that button, takes you right to the page that will give you all the information of not just downtown, but businesses that are continuing to serve at some capacity. And then it gives you a description of takeout, curbside, online. So, that's a quick reference piece there. That's the website that will show you these events that we have going on. We get those posted on there as well, so that you have opportunity to participate in those. And again, I can't say enough about, maybe you haven't been a Facebook follower or you put more towards Instagram, but I think Facebook right now is being flooded not only by the businesses themselves, but we are sharing everything they're doing that they notify us, hey, post this, post this. So we're keeping you completely bombarded with anything and everything they're doing. And they've come up with some really creative, fun aspects to what they're providing as well.
Okay, thank you so much. Don, would you like to add anything to that? And then Adam, you might want to add as well.
Myself. You're unmuted. Okay, you can hear me now. Yes, again, I just want to emphasize the livermoreupdates.com website. Click on the Open for Business tab, and then you'll have the whole list of all the businesses that are open and operating, and we have our restaurants and food service under their own category. And when you click on them, that will tell you what and specifically they're doing, if it does include delivery, takeout, what have you. All the details are right there. And then also, yes, to echo Rachel's, we are putting everything on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn and every platform known to mankind. We are posting it there.
This is Adam. I would only add that, this is obviously a rapidly evolving situation, and our businesses are doing tremendously hard work to adapt to those conditions. So there's a lot of different opportunities. There's another website that was put together by a community member and a business member at Daybreak Labs, our incubator downtown, that points people to opportunities to buy gift certificates. We do have some businesses that are either fully closed or operating at reduced capacity. And you may want to patronize them, but may not be able to. So buying a gift certificate today will give them the ability to pay their staff and cover their operating expenses. And then you can go enjoy that experience when they reopen. And so there is a website, livermoretogether.org, that lists those opportunities. It also has some information on where to volunteer. I had mentioned Spectrum Community Services Meals on Wheels program needing drivers, and Open Heart Kitchen and other places that need volunteers in specific circumstances. And then there are those that we don't traditionally think of as downtown storefronts, but are offering reduced cost or in some cases free delivery. So our breweries, our wineries, our bookstores, other places are trying to move some of their product and keep people entertained in their homes. So a lot of different opportunities, and you can see those different websites for how to connect to them.
So thank you for that. And I assume that we can get from the city's website or the chamber or LDI's through across linking. So as people are looking for things to do and what's open, they can check the different sites. They are understandably may be updated at different rates, perhaps. So at the moment, I think people should look around, but there's plenty of opportunities to go find the information. So I really appreciate what everyone is doing in that regard. So I got a second question here that's for Adam, and I'll hang on a second and I'll read it. It says, why is it that big while small mom and pop nurseries have had to shut down when they provide the same service to the community? Adam, would you address that, please?
Yeah, Vice Mayor, you cut out at the very beginning. So if others experience that, why is it that some stores, big box stores are allowed to stay open while others may be closed? And this is a result of the March 31st county shelter-in-place order, which defined what they meant by an essential business. And that definition is being clarified with each iteration. And so there may be some edge cases there, but generally they define as an essential business restaurants, groceries, healthcare providers, gas stations, hardware stores. So you may have a Lowe's or a Home Depot or something that is open as a hardware store that's also providing landscaping materials, but you might have a subset of a hardware store, a landscaping firm that may not be qualifying as an essential business under that. If anybody has questions about the city's interpretation of that order as the enforcing agent, they can contact our neighborhood preservation unit at 925-960-4444.
Thank you for that. I would note that I recently went to Alden Lane and picked up some items, and they did a very good job of, you order it, they put it out on a pallet outside, and then you yourself load it into your car. So that worked effectively. I don't know of others that are open, but I would want to say that it's really good the way businesses have been creative, innovative in trying to figure out how to work through all the rules as they change. And I think the spirit here, and you just mentioned it, as we go through the enforcement and think about the rules, we want to be as sensible as possible. So I think that's what we're all committed to doing. So now, Adam, at this point, there are a couple of more items that came through chat. Do you want to pick those up and answer those questions?
Yeah, one additional question was, what enforceable protections do small business owners have from landlords who are ignoring the city's moratorium on rent and reprisals for essential businesses? And a follow-on question to that, what penalties and disincentives do they face? How will the city protect businesses from reprisal once the policy expires? So at the beginning of our webinar, I mentioned the temporary moratorium that was issued by the city. That continues through May 31st. And failure to comply with that director's order is a public nuisance that can be abated through an administrative process. That administrative process includes citations, fines, and civil injunctions. So if you are a tenant that is subject to eviction during that period and qualifies under that order, please contact us. You can contact me directly, and I can connect you with our neighborhood preservation unit, our police department, or our city attorney as needed. Another question, a new one has come in for Marlow, who has had to move on. Can you apply for the economic injury disaster loan after you get the payroll protection program? We can direct this to Marlow. I believe, as she mentioned, the EIDL, or economic injury disaster loan, is administered directly through the Small Business Administration, whereas the Payroll Protection Program is administered through your financial institution. And I think you can get both. The PPP is a loan that is forgivable if at least 75% of it is spent on payroll, whereas the EIDL loan is a loan which is at a 3.75% interest rate for private businesses and 2.75% for nonprofits. Another question that has come in more generally, what is your advice for businesses struggling right now? What do you see as businesses' top needs at this time? So I don't know if Dawn or Rachael, you want to take that from the business perspective?
This is Rachael. I think, we're getting this question a lot too, by email, by text, by Facebook Messenger. And, I think really what the businesses that we talk to constantly about, what the ones that are still able to be open at some level, what they want right now is continued commerce, people continuing to support them at whatever level they can. Obviously, they're all worried about finances right now. And fortunately, there are federal conversations, state conversations, but things are slow to roll out. So the more that we as a community can support at any level we possibly can, whether it's a $5 gift certificate, making sure you're still getting an ice cream, right up to $1,000 prepaid gift certificate, because you're going to be taking your clients to one of our restaurants at least $1,000 worth after this is over with. So, to me, that's what I'm hearing the most, is just keep coming, keep letting us know that you're there and that we're valued and that you want us. So that would be my answer at this point.
So yes, I would agree. Ideally, people would like to keep the commerce going for their businesses, but there are many businesses that are not essential businesses that have had absolutely no revenues coming in over the last 5 to 6 weeks. And they're getting to the danger point. I think the biggest life raft that any of us have at this point, because we need to bring cash, are the financial aid that's coming in through the federal government. So the sooner they can fund this next wave of the Payroll Protection Program, as well as the Untitled Loan Program, better. If they're in the queue, but they were not funded in the first wave, my understanding is that they will be included in the second wave. I don't expect that we'll see that get turned on any earlier than Monday, but cash is king. I mean, they need to, be able to pay their bills and pay their employees and keep them on the payroll, which has been a goal of the government. Keep them on your payroll as long as possible, so that then they don't fall into the system where they need the safety net services and have access to funding through that. So getting that getting funds to them. The state does have a couple of programs. They're very specific though, that businesses can access to obtain some funding. We don't have anything like that at the county or the city level, unfortunately. But basically that's what we need. I'm hoping, as many of us on this town hall are, that the SIP is not extended beyond May 4th, but in order to keep us safe and healthy, if it has to be, then we definitely will need to go to the next level as far as support and financial aid for our businesses, because we really want to minimize the amount of business failures that we could experience here.
Yeah, this is Adam. I would only add that the shelter in place is a public health order from Alameda County Public Health Department, and the state of California is also conducting research to inform that decision. We at the local level are not determining that, but we are listening to every press conference, and we in economic development see it in 3 phases. One is the current operational period, which is the shelter in place, what we are all experiencing today, and you heard a lot about that today. The second is, as we start to get information, what does a phased return look like? The governor has talked about it not being a light switch. We're not going to go from fully sheltered in place to fully normal overnight, that there'll be some degree of phasing, and they've yet to define what that means. And so how do we get non-essential businesses that have been shuttered back into productive economic use? And then the third phase we're looking at is sort of a normalization period. If we are back to some semblance of normal, but we don't yet have herd immunity or a vaccine or anything, we're likely to have things like prohibitions on large gatherings. And what does that do for our events and our arts and our community? Or are we going to be required to wear masks in certain situations are the two that are often most discussed. So we're looking at a kind of a longer term period where we will be able to circulate likely, but we may have restrictions on that circulation. So we're seeing kind of the future ahead as a three-phased recovery.
So Adam, thank you for that. There was that question from Elisa about just reminding everybody to be safe. You want to take that now?
Yeah, so we did get one comment about reminding folks that this is a time when there's opportunistic activity where folks are sending out phishing emails that may have something to do with COVID-19. And if you're anything like the rest of us, you're scrambling for information and trying to read up on all the new changes. But I would remind you, don't just click on any available link, even if you think it may be from a credible source. You may want to go to the source itself, go to the chamber, go to the city, go to the county, go to the state, because there are some cases of those impersonating those organizations and then linking you to false information or sharing information that you shouldn't be sharing publicly. So just take care out there. There's a lot of information circulating, most of it very credible and important, but there are those looking to take advantage as well.
Okay, at this point, Adam, do you see any other questions, or are we ready to wrap it up?
I do not see any other questions in the chat or coming in publicly, so I think we can go ahead and wrap up now that we've reached the appointed hour.
Okay, have you switched it on to me, Jody, at this point? So I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I'd like to thank the panelists for all the information they gave us. And I'd like to thank Amos Productions for handling the broadcasting. Really well done. Now, this town hall was recorded and will be available to view on the city's YouTube channel. And also, I'd like to remind people to go to the city's website, www.cityoflivermore.net/COVID-19, for a link to our YouTube and COVID-related information and resources. And with that, I'd like everybody to have a great weekend. Remember to continue to shelter at home, wear a face covering when running essential errands. Thank you so much.